This dish is very high in magnesium, potassium on a per serving basis, 20 grams of protein in it, high fiber, low fat. So this is a great weight loss meal. If you're trying to lose weight or maintain a healthy weight, this is a good one to kind of keep in your routine. Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I am making curried butter beans. So would love for you to cook along with me. So I do have those pre-made, and I've got my veggies pretty much chopped, but all my ingredients out here with me. So I've got my little Dutch oven pot that I picked up from Costco. I love this thing. I use it all the time. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and preheat this. Preheating this to kind of like a medium-ish heat. You can do this in a skillet. Actually, that's usually how I do this. Sometimes I'll do this in the skillet or a saute pan. Doesn't really matter. Honestly, you can do it in whatever you want. This is a no oil recipe. So I often get asked, like, why no oil? What's wrong with oil? I actually had somebody on Reddit. I posted a recipe. I posted a recipe, like a really good popular recipe. I posted this recipe on Reddit. It was like a no oil recipe. And so in the title, I wrote the name of the recipe. And then in brackets, I wrote, I think it was like gluten-free, comma, no oil. And I put gluten-free and no oil in caps. And it wasn't, I didn't mean to offend anybody by doing that. But one person just like went off on me, like, what's wrong with oil? Why are you demonizing oil? I was like, I'm not demonizing oil. I'm just letting you know this is it's a vegan recipe that's gluten-free and has no oil in it. So anyway, I am not an anti-oil person. I generally don't cook with oil, quite frankly, and I want to explain why in case it might be beneficial for you. But I don't cook without oil most times because 1 tablespoon of oil has 120 calories. And being kind of in that postmenopausal stage in my life, as some of you might be aware and know and be experiencing, our metabolism kind of slows down. It's easy to gain weight. And so for me to kind of stay at a healthy weight, I tend not to cook with oil. So when I go out to eat, of course, there's going to be oil in the food when I go out to eat because most restaurants don't do oil free. When I'm testing recipes for the website, I will use oil if they're recipes that, kind of necessitate some oil, or people are used to having it with oil. We typically will have like a oil or use water or vegetable broth instead of oil. So anyway, I know I don't mean to babble and go on and on about it, but I just want to explain why this is no oil and why I generally cook without oil. So it's really the weight management. So to keep my weight at a healthy weight and not gain weight. So, all right. So I've got my pot. It feels like it's nice and hot here. Grab my spoon. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and add in a cup of the chopped onions. And I'm going to let this kind of dry saute. Now, a good practice is, just have a little bit of water nearby that you can, or vegetable broth works great too. And you can just use water or vegetable broth to kind of keep it from sticking or to deglaze the pan or pot. Yeah, well, going back to that Reddit story, by the time I saw the person's comment, kind of going off on me about the no oil in caps. I think that's what their problem was. I'm not sure if it's a male or female. Sometimes it's hard to tell because people use kind of cryptic usernames. But anyway, that person kind of went off a little bit about me, you know, putting it in all caps and supposedly demonizing oil. And I don't know when they posted it after I posted the recipe, but when I went back and looked at the other comments that people were making, other people were kind of responding to it, so I didn't have to. I was like, yes, that's great. So, yeah, it's no fun kind of getting into like a, you know, back and forth with people on social media because so much can be misunderstood, you know. So, turn this down a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to, this is like a really quick recipe. You're going to be surprised. I'm going to add the chopped bell pepper. And you can use green bell pepper or orange or yellow or whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and put in some garlic. So I've got the minced garlic. Yeah. I'm just going to let this hang out here for a little bit. I'm going to turn down the heat. I think I had it a little bit too high on this electric cook plate here, which is different from my gas stove, but that's okay. A lot of times the water from the veggies will release, so you don't have to add water, but in this case, I think because it was so high, I had to add a little bit of water to it, no worries. All right, so while that's kind of doing its thing for a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and make kind of, it's like a little gravy sauce that comes, that kind of goes with this dish. And the way I make it is I use some of the cooked beans and then also some plain unsweetened coconut milk. So I don't use the can just because the stuff in the can, honestly, while it's rich and tasty, it is very high in saturated fat, okay? And so me having a history of high cholesterol, I try to keep my saturated fat, you know, kind of to a minimum. And because saturated fat tends to increase LDL, bad cholesterol, according to the studies and according to my own physiology, because, you know, when I went plant-based and cut my saturated fat down and other animal products, my cholesterol went into the healthy range. So it works great for me not doing the canned. And so what I do is instead do this Tetra Pak. So it's kind of like watered down canned coconut milk. And that's a good thing. So you still get the essence and some creaminess from the coconut, but not with all the saturated fat. So, so I'm going to use a cup of this and a cup of beans. So let me just grab a little measuring cup here. I'll show you how I'm going to make this gravy. I'm just going to take some beans here. It's a little messy. It's okay. That's good. Yeah, I'll throw a little more in there. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to take the coconut milk and measure about a cup. And it could be a little more. That's fine, no biggie. All right, I'm right-handed, so I got to pour this with my right hand. Gotta commit. Okay, good. See, if you don't commit, it'll spill over the edge. So I have to say it out loud so I do it and not get all, you know, intimidated by it. Okay. I love using this little magic bullet cup. So yes, this is a smoothie cup, but it serves a purpose for making things other than smoothies for me. Honestly, I use this magic bullet more for dressings and sauces than I do for smoothies. For me, it's too small for a smoothie. I guess if I was making one for a small child, it would work, but the smoothies that I, myself, and my husband drink, it's just not big enough. So I use it for dressings and sauces. So if I could just get this lid on, let's see. Okay, there it goes. Gotta get it on there so it doesn't leak. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and blend this. This is gonna be what I make my sauce with. Easy as that. Okay, so I'm going to now, my veggies are cooked. I'm going to add in my spices, and then I'm going to add in my sauce and beans. It's like easy as that. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my curry powder here. So I've just got like, oh, this curry powder. Ooh. Well, you know what? It makes a difference when you buy fresh. I literally just bought this from my grocery store. It's like in the bulk section. And so I just refilled this, and it is like bright yellow. And it's because I think before I was using stale curry powder. So it pays to like keep your spices fresh. All right. So I got a tablespoon of curry powder, fresh curry powder. All right, I'm gonna do some garam masala. So we'll do like a half teaspoon. Where is that? There it is. All right, about a half teaspoon of garam masala. It can go a little over, no worries. And I think I'm gonna do just a tiny bit. My husband's been a little funny that I've been making stuff too spicy lately. So I'm gonna do just a little bit of, I'll do like 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne. Because there is some heat in the curry powder too, so I think that'll be fine. All right, so I'm not kidding. As soon as you put those spices to the heat, oh my goodness, it just smells amazing. It smells so good. Oh, can you smell it? Can you smell it through the screen there? All right, so now I'm going to take my sauce. I'm just gonna go ahead and pour this in here. So this is like the cream sauce. Again, all it is beans and coconut milk in the Tetra Pak. Yeah, you don't need the canned stuff. You know, if you're trying to keep your saturated fat down, you don't need it. You can still get a little coconut goodness by using it this way. And you get this little gravy here. Kind of see that in my pot. It's just looking oh so beautiful. And basically, I'm just going to take the rest of these beans and just put them in here. And then let it heat through. I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm going to top it with some cilantro. It could be parsley if you want. Kind of stir this around. Let it kind of coat all that saucy goodness. This is like my jam right here. I'm not kidding. I love this dish. One time I made it. It was like during a time when I was doing a lot of cycling. And so I was eating a lot more, you know, because I was burning a lot of calories. And I made a pot of this, and I think my husband got like a small bowl. Like sometimes he gets small bowls because he's not sure if he's gonna like something. Other times he gets small bowls because, you know, he's just trying to kind of not eat too much or whatever. And so he got a small bowl, and then like later that day, I ended up eating like half of the pot. And then the next day, when he went back to get some more, I had already eaten the rest of it. It was like, he was like, you ate that entire pot other than that little bowl that I had. I was like, yeah, it was good. And I kind of needed the calories. So it was, yeah, so this is a good one. This is a good one to have in the routine, in the rotation, as they say. All right, so I'm gonna let this hang out here. And I am going to, I'll just put the lid on it just to help it kind of heat through a little quicker here. Like right before I serve it or eat it, I'll put in a little bit of like a little lemon juice and a little lemon zest. It kind of just brightens it up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and chop up a little bit of cilantro because I want to add some cilantro to this too. I probably should have mentioned too, if you don't have coconut milk or don't drink coconut milk, I've used soy milk in this before and it's just as delicious. So if you're more of a soy milk person over a coconut milk person, you just want to make sure it's plain and unsweetened. soy milk, nothing with, nothing like some vanilla that'll really throw off the flavor profile of this curried butter bean dish. So let's see. All right. Okay. One thing I forgot to add, which is no worries because we can do this after the fact, is some coconut aminos. I'm going to go ahead and stir that in right now. Let's see what I do. Oh, I just put my thing away. I'm just going to eyeball it. All right. This provides a little bit of saltiness to it and a little umami. This is a salt to taste recipe. Sometimes the coconut aminos is enough. And I'll be honest with you, when you put in that cayenne pepper, and also like the lemon juice, sometimes you don't really need or want more salt, quite frankly. So, I would say, just try it the way it's written and then taste it. And if you're like, hey, this needs some salt, add some salt. So let this keep doing its thing. All right, I'm gonna chop up some cilantro here. Pretty cilantro. It's a beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest here. It's cold, but it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. All right. All right, I'm also gonna, since I got the knife out, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this lemon to put a little lemon juice in there. Don't need a lot, like even a wedge. You don't have to do a half a lemon. You could do a wedge. Just like a little squirt, just brightens it up, gives it a little kind of acid balance. So let's see here. Just waiting for it to come to just a little bit of a simmer. Gotta be careful with this because it heats up pretty quick. Like it's like if you go from like 3 to 4, it's like the step change. You would think, oh, it's just a gradual increase, but for some reason, sometimes it feels like it's like going from like medium heat to like super high heat or something like that. So you just gotta watch it. I mean, you've been cooking on your stove enough to know like what the right setting is. When I use my regular stove, it's a lot easier for me too because it's a gas flame. So I can like visually see the flame. If the flame is like, like this high, I could like, okay, I need to tone it down to about this high. And so anyway, for me, the electric is a little more of a hands-on, keep an eye on it situation. Well, so curry powder has turmeric in it and black pepper, which is anti-inflammatory. This dish is very high in magnesium, potassium, high in fiber. I think on a per serving basis, it's got about 20 grams of fiber in it. 20 grams of protein in it. High fiber, low fat. So this is a great weight loss meal. If you're trying to lose weight or maintain a healthy weight, this is a good one to kind of keep in your routine. So of course the fiber in plants is good for gut health. And it's not just like digestion, but it's also just good for a healthy microbiome. So just getting a diversity of those plants in your diet can be very, very helpful for having that healthy gut, which contributes to your overall health and well-being. It's like it contributes to triggering, hunger and satiety hormones. So, this is why I think beans are one of the, secrets to weight loss. People sometimes get this feeling, oh, beans, they're high in carbs. Well, they're high in fiber and complex carbohydrates, but not simple carbs. So, so that fiber just does wonders in our body. Just from these beans. I mean, one of the healthiest foods on the planet, honestly. In fact, the blue zones, if you're familiar with that, the people, the centenarians around the world, people who live to be 100 or more, beans are a staple in the diet of centenarians. So, and that makes a big deal. To me, it does, you know, because my goal is to live a long, healthy life. You know, I don't want to, you know, I care about, you know, my 90-year-old self and 100-year-old self, not just my 50 plus year old self. So eating beans kind of helps to contribute to that, you know, self-care. All right. I hear something. Oh yeah, I think it's moving. I hear it. I think it's doing something. It just smells so good. You could also like have this over like some rice. Honestly, I like having this. I do like having it with rice. I like also that we have on Daniel's plate sauteed kale and mushrooms. Again, it's not, there's no oil in it, and that is like, for me, nutritionally and flavor wise, like the perfect side component to this dish. So I'll be sure to look that one up if you want to figure out, okay, what do I want to eat with this? I would say that sauteed kale and mushrooms is the winner. You could also do just a simple green salad if you want. So, and you know what? You know, truthfully, you could just throw in a couple handfuls of baby spinach into this, you know, just kind of let it wilt, and get some leafy greens in that way as well. But I'm telling you that sauteed kale and mushrooms is a winner. So I want to stir it a little bit, make sure it's not burning at the bottom, which it shouldn't be, but again, I don't trust my ability to gauge the controls on this thing. Oh yeah, it's hot. All right, so I'm going to add in some cilantro. You can add this as a topping, like fresh, or you can add it, you know, to the pot so it kind of cooks in a little bit. And stir that in. I love cilantro. You know, some people, you know, have this genetic, I forgot what the gene is, but when they eat cilantro or they taste it or whatever, I mean, I guess when they smell it or eat it or whatever, that it's like dish detergent or cleaning fluid or something. It's very off-putting to them. So I just find that remarkable. It's fascinating to me. So if you're one of those people, you can use parsley, or just omit the fresh herb altogether. Fresh herbs are just so healthy. I like to add them to whatever I can add them to. All right, and I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice. Just going to eyeball it here. I'm not going to do the whole thing, just part of it. I'll save the rest for some water, or I might add it to a smoothie or something. And then I'm going to put in a little bit of fresh zest. So I got my little microplane grater. And I try to stick with organic lemons when I'm zesting, especially just because I don't know what they're spraying on the conventional ones, you know. But if I'm just using lemon juice and not using the skin, you know, I guess sometimes I will get conventional lemons, but it's hard sometimes because, you know, organic can be a little expensive. But, you know, interestingly, my grocery store is pretty fascinating. The organic limes are a lot less than the conventional ones. And a lot of people don't know that unless they look at it. But I went and asked, I was like, why is the organic less expensive? They said, this is what they said to me. They said, for some reason, we're able to get it cheaper than the conventional ones. So I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. So they passed the savings on to the customer, which is very nice and noble and honorable of them to do that. All right, so I got my little lemon zest in there. That should be good. You don't need to load it up. You just want a little to you know, you just want to be like, oh, that's nice. That little lemony thing is lemony, you know, kind of essence is very pleasant. All right, so now I'm going to taste it. See if I want to add salt or not. Got to get in a little piece of cilantro and a little pepper. Oh, it smells so good. Got to blow on. I don't want to burn my tongue. Dr. Furman told me not to eat anything real hot where it burns your mouth. I listen to Dr. Furman. Mmm. Mmm. That is so good. That is so good. You don't need any. I don't need any salt. I don't want to speak for you. I don't need any salt. This is perfect just the way it is. So I am turning off the heat, and I gotta go get my bike workout in, and then I'm gonna be eating this as soon as I get off the bike. So anyway, thanks for coming into my kitchen to cook with me. Oop, had a little piece of onion kind of come out. Sorry. So thank you for coming into my kitchen to cook with me. I hope you enjoy this. If you do like it, leave a comment, give it a rating. So we'll see you next time.